Here we go, everyone. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Oh, beautiful hearts, thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to be here live with my next guest, Ambujam Rose. And we're really excited because Ambujam is a beautiful embodiment facilitator. And we're talking about awakening, real talk, what it is and what it isn't. You know, there's some questions that I have, and even in conversation with people, when we're talking about sovereignty and the spiritual realm and ascended masters, higher self, even dark forces, and how we may be affected by those, and how sometimes it really does help to have a third party facilitator to assist us on our journey. I want to welcome Ambujam. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you so much for
Hi.
having me. Hi, everybody. I'm so looking forward to this conversation. It's going to be
We
good.
love the conversation with you because your voice, you are a Blu-ray. You may not know that, but you are a Blu-ray. I can tell
I
because if
don't know that.
yeah, um, Blu-rays, I would say most all of us listening, if anyone resonates with Lemuria, you're a Blu-ray. And the voice, I can always tell by someone's voice, because Blu-rays are here to use the voice to
Interesting.
shift. And we're actually the lost light worker because we really don't recognize coming from any planetary system outside. We know we're here for the earth, but we come from like all over. It is the divine ray, the first ray. And I think because it's such a monadic level, many of us watching are Blu-rays. So here's to the Blu-rays. All right.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are. This is energy healing. And I want to say that you do group power healing. And it's such an extraordinary process that you lead people on. As we start our conversation today, let's ask about the current energies of this year. Here we are rounding out 2024. Now, for me right now, I've been doing some work, some deep work, and so I feel good. I hope everyone's feeling better. It was kind of choppy
To say the least.
over the summer. It felt really choppy,
Yeah.
edgy. And so we've moved through the first eclipse, the lunar eclipse. And so it feels calmer. And past this equinox now, we feel calmer. What are you sensing?
Oh my gosh. Just September alone has been such depths of constant shifts on such, like, September has felt really strange, and a lot of people have been like, this feels really strange. And what I've been seeing is why it feels strange is because as these energies are coming in September, it's bringing these really specific parts of us to embody who we are. And it's these parts that we really haven't been this deep before. And it can feel strange. Like, that's the strange part, because we're like, our brains don't know how to understand the depths of ourselves that are coming forward right now. So it can feel strange and weird. And what I've seen, September marks the beginning of the end of year energies also. And so the amount of velocity of the depths that are coming forward now to be who we are, which is basically what is always happening, right? So we have these shifts and changes and the gateways and all the things that we label things, right? But foundationally, what's happening is as these higher energies keep coming, all it's foundationally doing is just bringing up our next levels to be who we are. Like, that's it. That's all that's happening, really, on a core level, foundational level. And so September is like these fine, 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 subtle energies that are coming and heightening, which again is bringing our next levels of our fine, fine, fine self, our subtle levels of who we are, to activate, come forward, embody, and be. And therefore, it's these levels of our past that are reconciling energetically and in our consciousness to be able to be these next levels of ourself. And so 2024 has just been like a deeper wild ride in a way that our minds have had a hard time kind of labeling, but we all feel it, right? And so September is the beginning of the end of year energies. And as we go into October and November and December, it's like we are going to deepen and deepen and deepen and deepen, but it can feel like we're going higher and higher and higher because as we go higher, we go lower, we go within. So there is no embodying your higher frequencies without going to the next levels. It's always like energetically, it always looks proportionate. So as high as the energies are, is as deep as you go. It's very related like that. So any idea um, of, well, I have to raise my vibration and that's it, um, is part of that BS. Because if you raise your vibration, you're going to have to deal with the next levels. And if you think you can just raise your vibration, right? It's kind of the old school thought, it doesn't work because you can't hold it, right? And so there's never anything that's going on the outside that's not happening on the inside. And so the only way we know these things of what doesn't work is because we've walked through it. We've been on the path long enough to be like, oh, all that story I had about what awakening is and raising my vibration is actually isn't it. And the only way we know that, all of us know that, is because we've tried a bunch of stuff that we thought was, and it's not, right? So I just want to share kind of the overview of the ends of 24 is the profound depths of like excavation that we'll be doing and embodying to get ready for 2025. And the other thing I want to add too is the amount of freedom now that we're able to actually experience on a daily basis is that which we've heard of and have been working towards for years. That's the other side of this, right? So, yes, we're doing this deep work, but the amount of inner sovereignty, wholeness, freedom, and though it's like the words don't even touch it. We're able to more have that daily experience of that being there now. Even though we can be going through really deep stuff, there's still this kind of almost like deeper and wider freedom from all the work we've been doing. Like the fruits are finally happening from all of that. So that's what I want to share.
Well, that is very interesting. The BS of raise your vibration.
Mhm.
At some point, it becomes a spiritual bypass. So when you talk about as we go higher, it's a deeper inward realm. I truly believe that. And I just want to say, in the past couple of weeks, as
Mhm.
I've been embarking on some of that inner work, I feel really fortified and strong right now.
Mhm.
And that's the
Mhm.
freedom that you're talking about. It's freedom
Mhm.
from things that used to, it's hard to articulate, but it's freedom from things that would put me in despair or make me have a pity party. That
Mhm.
and I'm over it. There was at one point I said
Mhm.
out loud, I'm sick of this. I'm not gonna feel this way anymore. And so when I did that, and then last night, we're already in this realm right now because the dream space last night was really vast. And I think
Mhm.
that's what you're
Mhm.
talking about too, is this freedom to express new
Mm.
ideas in new ways. That's really wonderful.
I
So
I
go
love
ahead.
what you said about the fortified, because
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. I had an experience about a week ago of, so my history is like grief and depression. Depression's not the right word, but like this heaviness, and grief. And it's been layers and layers and layers of what that's been about, right? But a couple of weeks ago, to a different level, all of a sudden it came up, like what you're saying, of like what would have normally I'd get caught in a certain way. I had a very similar experience. It came up, but it was just different. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I actually don't want to feel this anymore. And I meant it, right? Like that's the difference of like that fortified feeling. Like when you really feel no, versus the mind wants to be like, no, I don't want to feel this way anymore, right? But there's this deeper thing, this direct kind of deeper experience of like, I don't want to. I just don't want to. And
It
it's
feels,
like a loving choice almost that can
yeah.
be like, nah.
It feels, and for any of us who've connected with the higher self through hypnosis or meditation,
Mm,
reflection, it feels like the voice of the higher self is saying that. It's a no
mm,
nonsense
mm.
voice that says you don't have to feel that way.
Yeah, it's like this full
Full.
space that
Yeah.
has space, deeper space with it now. And like, really, that's this path of awakening. Like, we keep creating more and more space with our deepest pain and our deepest stories and our deepest, like, habitual energy. And it's like the space, like that hypnosis higher self, like that you're talking about. It's like this, it's almost like a grace that's this alive grace. I don't even
Yeah.
know how to describe it because you said there's really no words, but it's like that keeps becoming more and more available internally to have more space with this really deep stuff. It's such a specific vibe, that
I
space.
absolutely love it. Yeah. It would be wonderful to hear from our audience if they're experiencing similar things like
Mm,
this. Like what would cause us to react no longer causes us to react that way. I hope that's the way people are. And even if we look outside, I think this is very important to talk about too. When we look at the collective, we've got an election here in the US,
mm,
and that could get crazy. But you know what? I'm finding that if we rise above all of that, transcend all of that, we realize it really, I have to be careful here. It really, we are sovereign and we will continue no matter what, right? No matter what. So,
mhm,
that feels fortified to me.
mhm,
So, and that feels
mhm,
full. So it
mhm.
really is beautiful because, you know, guilt, shame, jealousy, for me, that seems to like be almost over, done. Is that amazing?
Yeah, and
Maybe
it's
it'll come up again later, but for
right,
right
but your relationship with it's really different now, right? If it
relation,
comes up, right? And it's like what you're talking about those specific feelings. It's really interesting looking at it, like, let's say psychically of the vibration of those feelings and the vibration that we keep embodying. It's like those two vibrations can't coexist the same way anymore. So just like energetically, it really helps, right?
so
To
what's
be
going
like,
on there? If there's two energies there, is that it's the higher self energy that's coming in and says you don't need to feel that way anymore. What is that doing? Is it raising the other energy? Is it transmuting?
the energy either completely goes away, like, so let's say we go forward in our consciousness and embody the truth of who we are. These vibrations, like, come out of us, and they also are around us because of the realities that we used to live in, right? So they either just kind of go away and be part of just a different reality because we don't live in that anymore, or they transmute, or they're way back there somewhere, but there's like this kind of calm, automatic feeling of like, I just have no desire to experience that. Not because it's like this, right? But yeah, it's like this vibe of the old either goes away or transforms or goes where it needs to learn also. Like it's really fascinating. Like when I do my group work with people and we do a lot of leaping forward really quickly, the old vibration of where they used to live. So like our internal world creates our external vibration that we live in. And as we keep shifting, our realities keep shifting of what kind of where we're standing in, right? Keeps changing, keeps changing, keeps changing, keeps changing. And it's really interesting sometimes to watch the old reality go because it's consciousness. And sometimes that consciousness wants to realize itself or wants to understand itself. It's almost like so much happens in that old reality. It's like an awareness in and of itself that wants to know itself sometimes in a certain way. It wants to understand itself, or sometimes it just completely kind of disperses and goes back to creation, back to source. It's really fascinating. It's almost like, well, what does it need in every moment? What do we need? How does our relationship shift with that energy in every moment? It's very kind of specific. So it's not like a one-word answer almost, because it depends on so many things. It's like consciousness, lack of a better word, wants to evolve. And it doesn't want, but like it wants. It wants to realize itself and evolve. It can't help it. And so whatever it needs to do, like an old issue in us or an old vibration, whatever it needs to do to create that quote result, it will do. So sometimes it just goes, sometimes it transforms, sometimes it transmutes, sometimes it alchemizes, and then sometimes it just completely disperses back to creation because that's how it learns who it is. It's really fascinating to watch.
That's really interesting to consider it that way. So as we say no, and we're getting beautiful comments of people absolutely feeling the same way and saying no, that helps it evolve.
Yeah, and our no has to be real, as we've all experienced. How many times have we said no to something, right? And it's like, whatever, I don't believe you, right? Because it's like our levels and levels of consciousness that we've been and that we still are, where the no has to happen is it's like in the very significant spot within our consciousness that is really true and real. And then it says no. Versus without that, all these other no's don't really cut it, although there are layers to the healing to get to that root of no. So it matters. And yet, if the thing is still there, it's because we're not done with it, even though we say we want to be done, right? Like, I want to give this example of my own life about I said I wanted X, and then when it finally happened, it was so different how it felt. And I don't remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2021 or something like that. So because of my heaviness and my grief that I've been healing and healing and healing, 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 clearing, 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 being freer in, I would say for so long, I just want to be happy. Like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. It sucks. No matter how much healing I do, it doesn't go away. It's always there. And I would say I want to be joy for years. And then on New Year's Day of whatever this year was, 2021, I think, all of a sudden the part that was the root was like, I'm ready now. And I was like, that's it. And then my life started to shift because this chose. But I had to do all those other layers of choosing and choosing and choosing and healing and healing and healing to be even able to hold it for reals, you know? And it's like, I know we've all had that experience somehow, somewhere where we just know we're done or we know something's different because of that, that like this powerful, simple shift happens. And we're never the same after that, right? So yeah, when that no is real from that place, and you know, you mentioned the darkness, right? All this dark energy, that stuff is real AF, right? It's very real.
And
And
it used to freak us out. And then you'd think, oh, I could just raise my vibration or I could do it myself. But no, it is real. And this is part
it's
of what I've done recently. And it feels awesome to be liberated from that.
totally. And so can I speak to this a little bit? This
Please do, because
darkness.
it's
So
a topic of conversation because some are like, well, we've been told that we don't need to do that we just need to raise our vibration. We've been told
no.
we don't need ascended masters, that we're giving our power away.
Yes.
Okay,
So
to this.
darkness, okay, has a role, obviously, right? Still has a role. We can't just pull it out of humanity. Humanity's not ready. Okay. It's like pulling a tooth out that's not ready to come out. It's going to hurt, right? When something's really ready, it falls off. Like an apple from a tree, it's ripe, it falls, a little breeze comes along, helps it along, right? It falls off. So, how I've seen darkness is, and why it's still there for people and how it's still there, is they have a relationship that is ancient and old with it. And
Yeah.
darkness can be a person, a human, a being, manipulation, um, narcissism, whatever manipulation energy is in our lives is because we still have a relationship with it. And that relationship started eons ago, that we're allowing ourselves to be manipulated. And to me, most of that root cause that I've seen in people is because we're scared of our power and we doubt ourselves. And so we've contracted these relationships to be like, well, I'm too scared to do my own thing. So I'll do your bidding, or I'll help your business, or I'll do you versus me. And it's this like foundational, let's say, incarnational experience of feeling like we're not enough, right? Doubting ourselves, self-doubt. It's this core doubt that we've experienced as a soul, let's say, for whatever reason, each one of us chose to experience that. Okay, we don't have to get into the why, because mentally we don't have to go there. There's a reason why we've experienced this depths of self-doubt, okay, starting from Om, starting from lifetime number one, okay? So let's say as a soul, we chose to experience this. And as we are awakening in this life, all of that doubt is shifting and completing and ending. The relationships that we've created from that self-doubt is that dark manipulative energy. Okay, some of it. It's not cut and
Mm-hmm.
dry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What the darkness does is it expands upon your own self-doubt and your own unhealed stuff. That's all it does. And why it's so challenging for us to just clear it is because it's our own stuff. So you can't just get rid of a dark being um, without foundationally being like, well, how is this even getting in the first place? How did I allow this manipulation? Oh, I didn't trust myself. Oh, I was really scared. And in this life, I'm being like, nope, nope. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be who I am. I'm going to be who I am. And it keeps reconciling our relationship with the dark, with the manipulation, with the power and control. And so At the root of all the darkness I've ever seen is this type of relationship where we've given our power away eons ago. And as we're empowering ourselves present day, it just keeps bringing up the next levels to clear with this type of relationship. And we can go weeks or months without experiencing it and being like, phew, I'm done now. And then whoop, here comes another layer. And it gets more and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Clever. The discernment we have to even realize this is happening keeps deepening and deepening and deepening. Like, oh my God, that's actually not my emotion. What? Right? That's another conversation. But it gets sophisticated. That's the word. It gets more sophisticated, these relationships, because we've cleared these other parts that weren't so, let's say, sophisticated energetically. But now, because we're becoming who we are in these deeper levels, these very sophisticated, very subtle levels of where we're still in self-doubt and where we've connected to these beings before because we were scared is still there. And we don't know what's there until it comes up, right? We think, oh, I'm completely done now. And it's like, okay, we'll see, we'll see. And so for whoever is experiencing manipulation, darkness, narcissism, keep checking within yourself of where are you still in agreement with this type of experience and why, you know? And really, at the end of the day, the darkness itself wants us to be who we are and awaken to be who we are. At the end of the day, it just does a very specific job doing it, right? It creates us to build our muscle, man, right? Like for all of us that have had to face these like freaky weird experiences that we've had energetically, how much stronger are you now because of it, right? So that's what I want to share for now, I guess, on darkness, because it's really real. It's very real.
Yeah, it's very real, and it's like a magnet. And so talk about looping.
Mhm.
Like if we don't clear that out, it's going to pull us deeper into it. And so as we're identifying this and looking at it, how do we recognize it? I think just by feeling in the doldrums, that's the indicator, right?
Recognize what? The darkness or the
Recognize it. Yeah, recognize the darkness. And doesn't the darkness want to be liberated and freed too? So
yeah,
what
ultimately.
it wants to
Mhm.
evolve and it wants to return to the light, right? And so does it open portals for more of that to come in? Or so if we're not aware of it, we heard recently that even when we're sleeping, there
Yeah,
could be
stuff can come
astral.
in. So when I've had those weird dreams, right? Like you wake up every now and then, you're like, whoa, that
And
was
then
not a
you're worried.
dream.
And you're worried or something,
Yeah,
right?
you're just like
And your body's
something.
all
Yeah,
nervous. Ah,
something came in, right?
okay.
Something was messing with you in the night.
I know now. I did not know before. I was just thinking, oh, I'm just nervous about something.
Uh
But
huh.
no, this is wow.
Yeah. So for me, when I've had that happen, my
Mm.
emotions are like, well, what the F, spirit? You should have protected me. And I should have been more whole in my space. Okay, I can easily go into that. But I know how stuff works. So I'm like, how'd this get in the first place? Why is something messing with me in my sleep? What was going on? And so for me, it's always going within to find how stuff gets in. Always.
And what do you find?
Oh, dude, so many things. So I think it's important for people to hear how I came to this. So if that's okay, if I can share that
Please,
story. So
please.
when my gifts first reopened 30 years ago, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what a session was. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I tried all kinds of things, trial and error. And my first year of doing readings in person, when it client would leave that I did a reading for grief, like grief was a theme, they'd leave and I would be grief-stricken. And it was the only and I'd work with other clients that we didn't address grief at all, and they'd leave and I'd be fine. Like my space was just completely clear. It was the grief theme that every time a client would leave, I'd be like, "Oh." And so many people at that time said, "Well, all you have to do is just clear your energy or raise your vibration or ring a little bell or choose um not to have this happen." There were all these things. So I tried all those things because I didn't know yet what worked for me. And so I was try the things, but the grief kept happening, happening. And I knew it wasn't my grief. I knew it was my clients, but I didn't know how to clear it. Or it would go for a second, but it would come back. And so after about a year of this, I was sitting meditating, and all of a sudden I had this idea of, wait a minute, how is their grief even sticking to me? Like, what is actually happening? If I take a magnifying glass to the whole situation, right, and go right down to, wait a minute. So I started to be very curious, not mentally, like this curiosity kind of was like, whoa, how their grief stick to me. And I started to ask the question, how did my client's grief stick? What is it sticking to? How'd it get in? And all of a sudden, this grief came up about my brother. So I was 2.5 years old and my brother was 13 months and he died. And cognitively, I have no idea I'm still carrying that grief from a 2-year-old. No idea. And so when I asked, how this grief get in, all of a sudden I see all this grief that my 2-year-old, my 2.5-year-old is holding. And I was like, oh, and I cried and I grieved and it was so powerful. And then nobody's grief stuck to me anymore. And I was like, aha, I have found the golden ticket of how to clear my energy for real. And so I started working with it. And every time something sticks to me or I go out in the world and I feel weird or whatever, right? And I know something's not mine. I ask that question and the answer is always different. And I just wait and something comes. It's a feeling, it's an image, it's a knowing. And then I really trust what that is and I follow it to see what it needs to heal and complete. And then it's like I see us like we're all these houses. Like I'm a house and I have windows and doors. And I think I closed all my windows. But there's a window in the back that's open where all these leaves are getting in. But I
Mhm.
don't know. And only when I look around my house and I find the window, then I shut it and no more leaves. And so every time something sticks to me, something happens, and I go, where in me is this sticking to? How'd this get in? I heal that thing and then that window shuts. My gap shuts, never to open again. There will be other ones that I'm not conscious of where my windows are open. But if a leaf will come in, it'll bring me to that awareness. So it's a super empowering experience when something's sticking to me, because ultimately it's going to point me back to like something I didn't know consciously, you know. And I just see this as kind of a process throughout the rest of our lives that we just keep closing our windows, we just keep closing our gaps. Because it's just we don't know what window is open until something comes in, you know.
Yeah. Wow. That is really beautiful. And would you say, when we're talking about is it mine or is it
Mhm.
not, that most of it's not ours?
Most of it's not ours. What?
Wow.
What?
It's the programming of our society,
It's like,
junk, it's the BS, it's the shit.
yep.
Sorry, it's
No,
the
it's like because of our embodiment now, our awakening and our awareness, we have more access to this information, to this awareness to be like, wait a minute, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine, that's not mine. Where it was always like that, but we didn't have the space yet in our consciousness to even ask the question. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm amazed of what, like just the other day, something came up and I was like, holy shit, like that's not even my emotion. So I want to share this experience. I met somebody recently and I was like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know if I want to hang out. I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And that was happening for like a couple weeks. And
You
I
were
was like,
nervous about,
yeah, I was like,
it's
I'm
like,
not sure. Is this right? I'm
Mhm.
not sure. And I kept asking my heart, is this right? My heart was like, yes. I
Ah,
was
you
like,
were at war between your head and your heart.
I thought it was my head.
Ay.
So I'm like, obviously I have trauma triggered. Obviously I got something going on. And I kept thinking it was my emotion that was freaked out. And so, because every time it would happen and it would wake me up in the middle, like I'd get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, boom, it was like there. And I'm like,
Wow.
Jesus, like what is going on? So it was about 2 weeks of that. And all of a sudden, one morning, I like asked, I don't even know what made me ask, but I was like, what the F is this? And then I felt through grace, like, this isn't even mine. And I saw a being doing it to me, cleared it, and 99.9% of that worry completely gone. And I was like, what? So for 2 weeks, I'm freaked out, and it wasn't even my energy. And from the before and after of how silent I was about it, I didn't even think about it anymore. It didn't bother me anymore. And I could see why this being was doing it is because it was going to be very empowering for me to go hang out with this person. And it mattered. Like this relationship matters. And so if it could shut me down enough and make me fearful enough, I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to hang out. And I'll walk away. I'll feel safe. You know, I was like, holy wowzers. That's some sophistication right there. And then it reminded me really of like, oh yeah, when anything's that charged and wakes me up in the night, that's a clue. This is not my
Wow.
emotion. It was insane. It
Well,
was insane.
yeah. And so I love how you were able to clear it. You know, as you say, your curiosity and you question it.
And
So,
once I saw again, like, how did that all get in? And once
yeah.
I understood that, which really
How
happened in like 2 seconds.
is it just our, so you trace it, okay, and so help us understand what happened. How did you unravel that? How did you
So when
see
I asked the question to my angels, I was like, what is this? And they showed me it's this being that's creating this energy.
a non-physical being,
Yep. Well, no.
astral or
It was a human.
a human
Yes.
somewhere on the other side of
Very
the planet or
no. It was a
someone in your
human,
town?
very crafty, very
And
crafty human. Yeah.
wow.
Yep. And so I immediately once it's like the awareness happened in like 2 seconds. I saw it was this person doing this. I saw the energy and I saw why. And I was like, "Oh,
Was this a person related to you and the other person?
I don't think so."
Okay.
I saw how it was getting in. So I'm really glad you're asking this question because my experience has been kind of, and I'm simplifying it, two reasons of why something gets in. One is unhealed stuff, self-doubt, issues, fear. The other is I'm about to step into myself so massively, energies don't like that. So
Uh-huh.
they're going to try their darndest to bother me.
I
So
just
I
got
will just,
goosebumps. Yeah.
yep. So that's what that was. That
Does
was
that
like,
piss you off? That pisses me off.
I'm like, dudes, really? Use your powers for good, man. But yet I know that's just what they do, right?
Okay.
You know that
All right.
scorpion and frog story, right?
Ah, yes. Oh, please share that for those because that's significant.
Mhm. So, like you said, we get mad, right, when we find that these beings are, like, trying to literally shut us down, right? Because 'Cause they're about to step in. Huge, right? So this is how I understand the scorpion and the frog story. So a scorpion and a frog are sitting on this sandy place, and then there's a lake, and then they want to get to the other side. And the scorpion says to the frog, "Hey, will you carry me over to the other side?" And the frog says, "You're a scorpion. You'll bite me." And the scorpion goes, "No, I won't." The frog goes, "Okay, hop on my back." So the frog is swimming along, and the scorpion bites the frog. And the frog's like, "Why'd you do that? You said you wouldn't do that." And the scorpion goes, "I'm a scorpion. It's what I do. It's just what I do." And so, silly little frog, right? Cute little sweet frog wanted to believe the scorpion, saying, "I'm not a scorpion." I mean, there's so much to that
So we're
story
like the little frog that believes.
that we believe because this is where things get in also. Those of us that are like this, we have huge empathy, huge loyalty, huge compassion.
Yes.
Right? That's weaponized from these beings. They weaponize that. And so that kind of innocent, like, "Oh, okay, you said you won't bite me."
Um,
That's not that type of innocence. It's like it can stay its innocence, but it doesn't know the ways of the world. And it would never dream that the scorpion would bite because it said it wouldn't, right? It's those parts of us that would just trust completely willingly, or I'm going to meet you and I'm not going to know you at all, but I'm going to trust you 100%. And it's like, well, people who live differently, who have way different upbringing and way different systems, they don't trust somebody until they give them a reason to trust. They do it the other way,
uh-huh.
right? We're used to, people like us, let's say, we're used to, "Oh my God, I'll just trust you. I want to just share my heart with you." And again, that's a very beautiful trait, right? But it doesn't know the ways of the world, doesn't know scorpions will bite, right? So it's really just interesting with all the awakening and all the childhood healing and everything. We start to learn like scorpions will bite. It's really hurtful and devastating that I believed that they wouldn't. And I'm going to love myself for that because that's my innocence. And at the same point, I have to learn and realize scorpions will bite. Beings will come in when I'm about to step into who I am. It's what they do. It's what they do. And I'm what I do. And I'm going to go forward no matter what. Right. And so, like, at the end of the day, it just keeps making us stronger and stronger and stronger, really, because what we have to push through our self doubt and our fear and our traumas to be like, I'm getting up anyway. I'm going forward anyway, even though I am scared to death, even though my traumas are like, no. Right. So,
Mm.
yes, it sucks when that happens. And I know I know the game. I know what's going on. This is all about me getting strong at the end of the day, you know. And
It
again,
feels
that's what
good to be strong. I mean,
it
it feels
feels so
good.
good,
Yep.
especially
Yeah.
if we've had self-doubt,
Yes.
debilitating.
That's all of us. Hello.
Hello. And who
Stepping
hasn't?
into our power. This gives the word light work or true meaning.
Right.
I mean, it really does.
In the 30 years I've
That
been doing this
is what,
work, sorry, I've never ever seen anyone not have self-doubt.
right.
Even people who are millionaires have it. It's just not their lifetime to not have that money. It shows up in other ways,
They'll
you
they're
know.
they're gonna doubt that they're gonna always have it. Oprah, she is one of the richest women and she still doubts if
Yep,
she'll have money.
yeah, so it's interesting, like, a lot on the spiritual path, abundance, 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 right? It's constantly like talked about and worked with. And How do we receive more money and all that? And it's like somebody who has a lot of money, it's because it's not their path to not. They have to deal with other things. For somebody who doesn't, it's their path to not so they can heal and receive. It's like money doesn't mean somebody is free.
Right.
It
I
just
love
doesn't. They
it.
just have different things to work on that is
Yeah.
just as hard for them as it is for us.
Okay.
So, like, your stuff is super hard for you. My stuff super hard for me, where somebody else could look at it and be like, dude, just do this. Like, it's pretty easy. And you're like, yeah, but, and so we each have our own like spiritual barbells to like lift. We just do. It's core. Like, it's core, right? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah, money is an interesting thing.
Yeah. Everything is a relationship. Okay. I am loving this conversation. It's really empowering. So the technicality of clearing something, you did speak of that. How do we, so it really is just going so deeply within and recognizing it. And if we work with another healer or someone as a facilitator to
Hmm.
assist us in this healing, how do we know that it's going to be gone, or when it's done, or it may be
We
never
don't.
done because it's layers,
It's layers.
and there could be a healing crisis from that healing, right? For example, I did some deep healing work, and then I'm out grabbing a turkey egg, saving these turkey eggs, and my dog jumped up on me, and I lifted my knee, and my baby toe got caught in her collar. That was a healing crisis.
Gosh.
And then I tracked it and traced it. That
Uh-huh.
same injury happened on my wedding day.
Oh my
So then I tried to correlate all these things, and it was like, wow.
God.
And it came from a healing.
Right?
This is just our personal introspection on what that is. And then I think about like what really that is. And you know what? It really goes back to power, giving our power. Is that just
Y-
amazing? Not
Isn't
to go
it?
too deep into that, but wow.
Yeah.
So then guess what? Here's the good side. There is a good side. That is that is
Yay.
relationships shift.
Yeah.
I cannot
Everything
tell you
shifts. Yeah.
okay, and it's so super subtle. It's like so super subtle. But when I decided certain things and certain feelings, I'm not going to do that anymore. I noticed the people closest to me, even some who are not conscious in the same way or still on their journey in different realms or different ways, different paths, everyone started to shift. Everyone started to
Mm,
shift.
so
I would get
powerful.
people started to treat me differently. They spoke to me differently. I got phone
Interesting.
calls out of the blue. That's a miracle. Wow,
Totally. I
that's
know.
good news.
Yeah, there's like that's awestruck, right? Of when you're watching that happen, you're like, "Oh my God." Yeah, there's not even. It's just amazing when that happens.
And so, all right, here's a good question. And let's open this up to questions in
Mm.
our audience, please. We want to
Yeah,
hear
I'd
from,
love to. Yeah.
there's a lot of people saying this makes so much sense. But here's a question. It seems there's a better word for clearing. And I agree. It's almost like it's conscious awareness, 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 awareness. Let's
Mhm.
just say it's awareness. And that right there to me feels 95% of the work, because
Yep.
that awareness then helps us. What is the rest of the 5% that we need to be doing? Catching ourselves.
Um, so here's how I see clearing with a microscope. I mean
Okay.
a magnifying glass, okay?
Okay.
There's an issue in someone, just keep cycling and cycling. Then something within the issue starts to become aware of itself, and then the energy releases.
Ah, that,
That's clearing. So like you said,
Recognition releases
awareness
motivation. Yes.
creates the clearing. Sometimes something's ready to pull it out, which then creates the awareness. But really, at the end of the day, it's the awareness that's ready to have this thing be pulled out so it can become aware of itself. It's
Mhm.
always awareness in the person that might not be conscious or cognitive that is ready to become aware of itself and why it did what it did, not through judgment, but like pure love, pure truth. Something's ready to understand why, what it did through all these lifetimes. And as it understands that, the energy clears. Because the only thing that's truly holding it is what's ready
Yeah.
for that to go. I like that apple of ripening on a tree. You can you when an apple's not ready to come off the tree, you can pull it and it won't come off. So if you just try to do a clearing when something's not ready, it won't do
Mhm.
anything. But when that apple's all red and ready, just needs a little breeze. That's the healer or how we collaborate with each other. It's that breeze that comes along to help the apple. It's already going to fall off, but to help it fall off.
Like a
But
scab. I'm
like,
thinking scab. That's kind of gross, but I'm thinking about that too because it's
yeah,
almost
it's
like
the inner.
it's the
Yeah.
awareness helps it to like lift up and lift off.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And so, okay, and so the awareness is inside us, like when you were sharing your experience with that relationship that you kept like, what is this? What is this?
Hmm.
Um, when the awareness, it's not, even though it was another something doing something to you, we are still taking full
Yep.
responsibility.
100%.
We're not blaming like another person, like someone says, I see something here. Is it typical to be able to actually see that someone is causing these issues for us?
Typical.
So someone causing these issues for us, it's still all
Hmm.
us,
Yeah,
right?
it's still all us at the end of the day.
They're
So,
playing a role.
yep, they're playing a role. And you know, we can't negate the fact also that when somebody hurts us, like they did that to us too,
Yeah.
right? We can't what's the word? Bypass that, right? It's basically it's how we hold that, right? So it's like if this if like this person that was doing this to me, they're still doing that to me. That's their 100% responsibility. They still have to take responsibility for that in some lifetime, some soul. However they're going to do that, I have no idea. But they are still 100% responsible for their action as I am 100% responsible for my action, right? So somebody can still do something to us and it sucks and it hurts. And we need to feel our feelings about that. It matters. And what in me is allowing that to happen? That's my 100% responsibility. So when I saw that this person was doing this to me and creating all this havoc, and I saw that it was about me being my next levels of empowerment, let's simply say, in that moment, I had to, this is hard to describe because it happened in 2 seconds, but in that moment when I saw how they were doing this to me was because I'm about to step into myself in a bigger way, and hanging out with this person is actually super empowering because of what happens when we hang out, which is why this person didn't want us to hang out. Something happens when me and this person and I hang out. It's powerful, okay? We're not conscious of it, but I saw it psychically. I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense."
I had the same thing happen to me recently. Wow.
How's
It's fascinating. Go ahead. I'm sure that we can all look around and see that. But then
Mhm.
the fear that comes
So,
up. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so when I saw like this is about me stepping into myself, in that moment, in that split second, there was this choice I had to make of being vulnerable enough to step into myself. So even though this person was affecting me in that way in hopes I would just shut myself down and end that relationship with a person that I was afraid to hang out with, right? There was still a choice I had to make to take that step into myself. So it's like, on some level, energetically, I'm like stepping into my next levels of myself. It's happening. This person comes in to stop that. In that moment, I still had to be like, no, I'm being myself. Like against a gazillion levels of fear and self doubt on a deeper level, I had to choose. Like it was like deeper stuff that was up for me super subtly of really empowering to be like, I'm going forward. And it's like this feeling that you feel in yourself that is so powerful at times that in the past you said no before, you didn't step into yourself before, or as a kid or whatever, but in this very moment, oh my God, it's all going to change right now because I'm up against it and I say yes. So that's what happened too. But it was all in 2 seconds. Like for me, this thing, once I saw what it was, this choice happened. So how they were still getting in, let's say, was like 90% them trying to block me from hanging out with this person because it was powerful, but 10%-ish was me stepping into myself in a bigger way, and I had to choose. And it was very empowering to feel that power of choice. And how we clear the energy is the inner work. Then it goes. And if it doesn't go, after we've done the thing and we know we're complete, like, okay, I've just tracked this thing as far as I can, I've completed whatever I need to do, then I would take it to the next degree of like, okay, now what? What do I need to do? Why is this being still standing in my space? There's something else not done, So really at the end of the day, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. But most stuff just clears on its own once you find the root of it and it's inside yourself. It just goes away. Because it can only wreak havoc where we're unconsciously like, do, and it's hooking in to our wounding. And once we become aware of the wounding, it can't hook. Like it just can't. Not in the same way. Might be able to do it in different ways or subtler, but once we heal the thing that it was getting into, it just can't stay. It just can't. Just can't. So that's how you clear it, is you heal it here. Here, heal yourself, clear yourself, like simultaneously,
Awareness.
Awareness.
We're making the unconscious conscious, and that is healing. That is healing. All right. It's really important that we know that. All right. Let's go for some questions. There's one here
Okay.
that said, what did you mean by giving your power away in your experience? Uh, okay. I don't know if this was for me, but and this is, so it's different for each of us. So if someone else stubs their toe and you track it, it could be something totally different. But for me, and this happened on my wedding day, I gave my power away when I went into that family. I love my family. We've been married 31 years.
Mm.
So it's wonderful, but yeah,
Mm.
my in-laws also came on my honeymoon with me, if
Mm.
that's enough. I love my family, but so for me and my awareness, it was just a little bit of me turning down my light.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
um, mm, what is that called? Oh, there's a word for it. Not condescending, but I compromised my power.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Let's go to some callers. We have Caroline, and Caroline, you can unmute yourself. Hi. Ask your
Hello,
question.
beautiful. Hello, hello. Thank
Hi.
you. Hi, my love. Hi, Ambujam. This is Caroline from Ontario.
Oh, hi, love.
Hi,
Holy
beautiful.
wowzers.
I know, a long time.
Yeah.
I would love, I agree, first of all, with everything. I'm all about living consciously and owning and healing and teaching. So yes, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm looking for some clarity on the heart palpitations and anxiety that have been really harsh on me in the past 4 months.
It's
And
interesting.
during that, about 2 weeks ago, a dragon head came to me as I was falling asleep as the heart palpitations were really strong. So I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I've really been inquiring and deciphering. And yes, I would love some clarity. Thank you.
Well, just kind of overview answer. I've been seeing over the past 4 months or so, when I've been working with people to clear like very specific levels of dense energy, you can see how it directly relates to the heart. Like the physical heart has been having issues, palpitations. Yeah. So I just want to share that. Like the density that's clearing now is related overall, okay, to the heart. So for you specifically,
I
some
know
part of
it's
you
not
is like,
just menopause.
huh?
I know it's not just menopause.
Well, when I go in to see what it is for you, a part of you is like, no.
Hmm.
So I'm going to hang out with her and see what's going on. Okay. So I'm like, why are you scared for the answer to come? And so a simple answer of what's going on is protection. Okay. The
Okay.
heart. So
Yeah.
it's your childhood self. She is scared. She doesn't want to let go of protection. So whatever's going on in your life that's triggering inner child stuff. Okay. Okay. Now she's like, okay, I'll move out of the way. Like I'll let you see. So because we're, with a lot of people right now, I still need to be discreet right now, I feel. So I'm going to say some stuff discreetly. Okay.
I understand.
Okay. The relationships you're ending or changing that you are very uncompromising and fiery about is part of the heart stuff. And you have to keep following your truth and bust through. It's interesting that you say menopause because there's a fiery energy around menopause, right? You're up against deeper, simply put, fears of saying, no, I will not do this anymore. I will not have this experience anymore. I will not be in relationship like this with you anymore. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Keep going with that. And that's why the inner child is scared, because you're kind of taking the reins in a way that you never have. And so the inner child's kind of, she freaked out a little. Let her know you got this, right? Like you be the little inner kid and I'll be the adult. I've got this. Be with me, hang out with me. But that's what I see so far is just the heart. There's like, quote, blocks in the heart that you're bumping up against energetically because of how you're empowering yourself right now. And there's old energy in the heart. So that's basically what's going on. And there's some other things behind that, but for time's sake, I just don't need to go into that right now. But it's the empowerment thing that you're doing. That's creating the dense energy in the heart to come out and bump up against and come out. So that's what I want to say.
I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your question. All right. Next, we're going to go to Nat. Nat, hi. You can ask your question. Hi. You are
Hi.
hi. Oh, we don't hear you, Nat. Beautiful Nat. Okay, keep trying. Keep trying.
Hello?
Oh, we got you.
Hi, sorry about that. I guess I was muted. I pressed the button. Anyways, I've done your group power healings. There's a lot of density in the body, physical stuff coming up, and a lot of anxiety. So it's probably the heart, and it's just next steps moving forward. And it just feels like there's a lot of blocks, like with the path that I thought was going to be a career doing this quantum stuff. It seems like that's blocked for some reason. I don't know if it's just more releasing or what, but it's just a constant hamster wheel of anxiety and fear and a lot of endings as well.
So what's your question exactly?
Just, I don't know, can you sense anything going on in my energy field? Like for me, when I meditate, when I ask for guidance, it just feels like I'm stuck, like starts, stops. Maybe it's just the anxiety and fear, or maybe it's just that I need to have more faith for the next steps. Or maybe I'm on the wrong path.
No, it's none of that.
Oh, okay. Too much mind stuff, possibly.
Yep,
Okay.
for sure. Because when you're talking right now, I'm just like, that's why I asked, like, what's your question? Because I don't even feel you. I'm like, where are you even?
Okay. Like ungrounded or just off? Like my energy feels so strange. I've been doing a lot of releasing. Is it just too many things and I need to integrate? Or I'm just having a hard time understanding what to do with the September energy.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to find what's going on. Because it's none of the things that you mentioned. Like you're actually not
Okay.
blocked.
Really? Okay.
Not in the way that you say you are.
Okay.
Or you think you are.
Okay.
Okay, I gotcha. Found you now.
Thank you.
God, I can see how you feel so freaking weird, man.
Well, there's a lot of releasing. It's layers of stuff. I've been doing different processes and using tools, but I feel out of my body, like just strange.
Yep. Okay, here's what I see going on. And I'm going to tell you why this is happening. So I'm going to super simplify it. All the releasing that you're doing is happening on a quantum level. I mean, it's happening like this, all of us in a quantum level. It's the levels that it's happening on for you that you're releasing. That is then, that's part of your path to do it on those levels very, very, very specifically that you're doing it. And why it's that is because you are to embody super specific energetic aspects of yourself. I'll simplify it like that. Okay. It's almost like looking in a mirror that has all these kind of splinters in it. You're to create wholeness with all these splinters. Okay. And this is just life path. Okay. 2024, 2023, 24. It's opening these layers even more for you. Okay. As you're doing all this release and as you're embodying this wholer sovereignty in all these areas energetically, part of what I see of why you're out of your body is it's triggering an energetic jail that you're in. That's not this life. And so that's where I have to go because we got to get you out.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm just stuck in loops. I've tried for over 2 years since everything fell apart with all of these different healers and processes, so many and so much time and so much intention.
So it's not that the things aren't happening.
Okay.
It's you're in jail. And so that part of you can't experience the change. Or you can't experience the fact that everything that you're doing is actually working. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to see what we can do to get you out. And I feel like because we're on this call right now with everybody, whoever is experiencing something similar, that the mind doesn't have to figure out right now. Okay, you guys, something's going to release for everybody.
Okay. Wonderful.
Okay. All right. So Nat, you ready?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
She's like, oh, this part of you goes, oh my God, I had the key all along to get out. She's getting out now. And I don't have to, it would take way too many hours to describe what's actually going on. We don't need to because your awareness got it. And if there is anything I need to share, I will. But you're getting out now. And you
Okay.
had the key the whole time. You had to be ready.
Okay.
That and it's a metaphor also, like you had the power the whole time. It's Wizard of Oz. All she had to do was click her heels. She had the shoes on the whole dang time, but she had to go through the whole journey, right? To know, what do you mean? I've been wearing these shoes since the beginning of this movie, right?
Gotcha.
All I had to do was click my heels. Well, why didn't somebody tell me that? Well, because you had to go through a whole journey to realize what you did. Now you can go home, right? Yep. So you're, whatever all of this is about, you're coming out of the jail and shutting it up, locking it, and then whatever else is happening for everybody on this call, and those of you on the replay and stuff is happening. Yep. So all of us now, you're like, oh, interesting. So I'll share what's going on in a second. So Nat, you're like, come on, everybody. Let's go. And I'll describe this in a second. So we're all going to go more forward now, okay? Out of these nuisances, these things that have just been so frustrating. Yep. So all of us are going forward now in whatever way we are into our next levels of self, expressions being. Now you're swearing up a storm. Ending that, you're like, well, whew. And this part of you is like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Do I nap? Do I eat? Do I go for a run? Do I sit outside? Do I just be? Like your energy is freeing up now. And so this, it's like she doesn't know what to do with herself. Whew. So why I was like, oh, interesting, which is the reason why you were in jail, is because you who you are as a being, an aspect of who you are is what you just did. You're able to break, I don't have a word for it, man. You're able to lead people out of, you're able to show new, the new consciousness, the new opportunities for people, and to help them see what was and choose and go forward. And so energies don't want you to do that because that's super powerful, because you just took all our hands.
That is interesting.
So things will be integrating for a while now. And
Okay.
I want you to keep it super simple. So after this experience,
Yes.
keep it so simple, like, oh, I'm breathing now.
Okay.
I'm just in my body. Pay attention to a body part. Look at your fingernail. Don't complicate anything. Just be so simply here.
Okay.
And so a way to practice that is say to yourself everything you're doing. Oh, I'm sitting in a chair right now. Oh, I'm driving my car. Oh, I'm breathing. Oh, I just had a thought. Oh, I'm getting up to get something to eat. Like, make it really present, simple, grounding. And so as you do that, so much will be integrating and energetically shifting. But you don't have to make all that happen. You just keep being now.
Okay.
And it can feel strange because you're used to being in that jail and what that felt like, and you're used to the noise, and you're used to efforting in a very specific way. You don't have to do that anymore.
Okay. I
So,
will happily not. Thank you.
yeah, right?
Thank you for this
bye.
release.
Yeah, so
Thank
keep
you.
it really simple and learn from this deeper well of simplicity and presence, and just kind of, the blossoming flower. It's
I love
completely different than what you're used to.
it. Feels different. I feel different now. I feel like an inner peace, quiet stillness.
That's you.
Anxiety is gone.
Yep.
I feel more centered, and this offers confirmation for whenever I do a group call, whoever's, the the healer, they always do a group process when they tune into my energy. So it's kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like I'm
Yeah, so that
processing a lot for, I don't know, like the collective, or I don't know what it
mhm.
is. It's like weird
Yeah,
energy
it's hard
for me.
yeah, it's
I
hard to
don't get it.
describe what your being does, but you
Yeah.
know because it's you. And so, yeah, that inner peace, that stillness, that's your new home, quote. That's your new inner landscape now. I can't say new because it's always been there, right? But
Yeah.
that's where you bridge your consciousness. Like, all I have to do is be this. It's all I have to do. I have one job right now. Be that. Bridge there. Steep there. Let that be the new foundation of everything.
Oh, I love that, the foundation, because that's what I feel like this has been, building a foundation. I thought it was a Saturn cycle of looping, but it's not. It's something
See,
different.
now, yeah, now you'll start to experience all the work you've been doing has actually been taking hold. But for
Oh,
whatever reason, that part of you that was in jail was a lot of where your human consciousness was for a while.
yes, that makes sense. Thank you. You always simplify everything. I love it. Like,
Mm,
thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
you're very welcome.
Okay.
I actually hear you now. Like, you guys, you want to chat? Like, how do you hear her now energetically versus when she first started? So if you listen to the replay and you hear your energy and then you hear it now, it's like, oh, here I
Night
am.
day, strong,
Yeah.
bam.
Bam.
Thank you so much. Thank you, both of you.
Mm,
Nat, I want to say that there's a number of people in our chat on Zoom saying that they needed this too. You are clearing
mm.
for the collective. I find it uncanny how a group gets together like this and we all have the similar
I
issue.
know.
Really very cool. Very cool.
Never
Okay.
ceases to amaze me,
Yeah, I know.
ever.
Okay. We've got a few more minutes here. Are you good? Can we go to the bottom of the hour?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Here is a question that I know our attendee is not alone on. I keep feeling fears around aging. My worry is of
Mm.
dementia and just
Oh.
physically not being able to take care of myself. I've tried to release it, but it just keeps circulating in my mind. The fear is new to me over the past, say, 6 months.
Mm.
It just won't clear no matter how I try to reason it through. Is that an entity or a being?
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that question.
So if you ask yourself, and it's not about getting a specific perfect answer, but this question just brings more awareness. If you ask yourself, what percentage of this feeling is mine? Just get a sense. Is it a lot, or is it none, or is it a little? Right? And then you ask, what is it sticking to? I wonder. And it's those fears deep in there that I watch you go to that you're like, "Burp, nope." And at first you want to because you can feel it, right? You're like, oh, yeah, that's how. These are mine that I can be with. But then as you start to go there, there's a contraction of fear, and then you want to come back out, and that's where this energy um, sticks and creates this cycle. So what I want to say is, when you ask yourself, okay, how is this energy getting in, and you start to feel the fear that are in there that freaks you out, right? Contracts. Keep gently staying with the contractions, staying present, and to almost get excited about, ooh, what are these fears, I wonder? Because the fear of what it is and what it is different. Yep. Now you're on your way.
Thank you.
And this is a really good teaching because have any of us, once we actually got to what the issue was it as bad as the fear told us it was going to be? Ever. When you actually get to what the stuff is. It's liberating, it's empowering, even though it can be devastating or hurt. When you feel the truth about something, the truth holds you in your devastation, right? So when we start to go into our fear and that contraction comes, it's fear of what it is. and to know it'll never be what that fear thinks it's going to be. And it's a protection, you know? So just stay present with that. Gently, gently, one step at a time. So yeah, keep going down to what these fears in you are. And then there's so much peace in there once you spend time with them. And listen, just listen to them, right? Okay. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Just it's your words are an activation, a clearing and
Mhm.
activation. We can all feel the shift. I truly hope people are feeling better. We have words that someone's like, I got my gumption back. Yay. Excellent.
Gumption. That's a
Excellent.
good one.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do maybe one more, maybe two, depending on time here. Nikki, hello. Please share your question.
Hi.
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 So a big thing for me is, so you said the whole tracing back thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have that memory. So is that necessary to trace it back? How do I do that? I've
No.
had this trouble, like this
Go ahead.
worry for a while now.
So how we track our own stuff takes a lot of practice to find that tool and how we work.
Also,
Right?
memory is a big issue for me. Like
Okay. So
huge.
when you have a feeling, you don't have to mentally do it. Put your logical mind, say, thank you, logical mind. You'll never figure this out, though. Like our logical minds can be used for logical things,
Mm.
right? Food shopping, driving the car, balancing our checkbook, even though we don't balance our checkbook anymore. But it can't be used for this, however, right? So you don't ever want to make it wrong. You want to be like, I hear you, I see you, but I need to go to another aspect of me to track this thing. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you want to feel your way through.
Okay.
And practice. Because I 100% know you can do it. It's not that you can't do it. It's just you were using the quote wrong tool.
Center,
What'd you say?
like mind center instead of heart center.
Mind, exactly. So once you start kind of playing around of tracking, but with feeling,
Mm.
feeling and knowing are kind of, they work together, let's say, if they're not the same thing. You're going to have to re-establish what that feels like for you, because you might only be able to stay with it for like, a minute or a few seconds at first. But
Hardly.
keep going, keep going, keep going, and get used to that ability that's totally there. Okay, let's do something for everybody, actually. So I feel like we want to help create a deeper bridge. I don't have or open, the bridge is already there for people, but to kind of, yeah, it's already happening. Just kind of help you guys
Feel.
more effortlessly. Yeah, thank you. More effortlessly feel through the heart.
That's a big thing for me too. Thank you. I felt it.
Yep. So now that's for all of us.
I'm
Now for you
excited
guys,
now.
it's yay! It's like,
Beautiful.
ooh, what's this newfangled thing?
I love your cute little voice. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's so exciting. You're so welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
You know,
cool.
that's one of the most popular questions. How do we know when we're in the heart? So that was really very helpful.
Know thyself. That's how you know.
Know thyself.
Yeah, because the more you spend time within, the more you know what's heart, what's mind, what's emotion, right? People can tell us all day long, this is what this is and that's what that is. And you go, okay, thanks. Right? Okay. But then at the end of the day, it's our own direct experience with ourselves that is the teacher. It's the greatest teacher. People can point with words and bridging and energetics, right? But it's only when we spend time with ourselves to know thyself, then we know what's happening because we've spent time with it and we've directly had it with ourselves, right? Yep.
Yep, I love it. Okay. Really cool. I hope that everyone who has their hands raised has felt a little relief and release. If not, do you want to feel into this group, Ambujam, and see if there's anything else? I think we've covered a lot of territory, but I just want to give you a moment to feel into
Yeah.
just a
First of all, I want to thank you, Loren, for just being who you are and holding the space. I don't even want to say holding the space. It sounds so cliche. It doesn't sound enough. Doesn't sound like enough. I just want to thank you for just being who you are and being real and showing up and just thanks, man.
thanks, man. You're welcome, man.
And thanks for letting me share everything.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to
goodness
feel
for the
into.
world. Go ahead.
Hmm?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I do, yeah. So when I tune in, more so than an energy healing movement, the words have to be spoken for each of you that you can do it. You can do what's next for you because how do you know you can do it? Because you feel it inside of yourself calling you. So something wouldn't call you that's not for you to do. Whether it calls you for 2 seconds, 2 hours, 2 years, or forever. We're not talking about something like that coming and going. It's your next levels that you are to come into and be and embody is for you to do because it's asking you to. You can feel the call in these next levels to just keep going and keep going. So I just want to say you can do it because it's calling you. And to know that you don't have to get rid of feeling scared first. It's that new willingness to do something you've never done before that you feel in your heart and you know it. And you don't have to not be scared. Being scared is actually part of this journey because it's always new. So, is there anything else? Nope, I feel like that just needs to be said. So to take that with you of what that means for you, of you going forward into your next things that are scary. It's for you to do it, or else it would not be here asking you and calling you. So that's what I want to say.
That is so powerful. That is so comforting.
Mm.
You know, when we wake up in the middle of the night now, or when we are overcome by the fear, I'm going to hear your words. Get excited about it.
Yeah.
Get excited to move through it. Oh my God, yay, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for growth,
Yep.
opportunity to come home. It's an
Every time.
opportunity for movement. There's great healing that's done. All right, that's worthy of a sticky note. We know we've been writing sticky notes in this summit series. That's worthy of a sticky note. Move through the fear. Don't not be afraid of the fear.
Don't not be afraid
Don't not
and do it.
and do it. Okay. Well, I want to take a moment before we sign off here and present a beautiful opportunity for people to work with programs that you've got that assist us to go deeper in this way. And in the link on Zoom, I'm going to post Ambujam's special offer. This is a beautiful package of group healing power sessions. So check it out. There's 4 in here. And as you all know, Ambujam does these beautiful group power healing sessions several times each month. And we invite you to those. But this little collection here is interesting because this is the old self die
Die
off
off.
series.
So
Bye-bye.
so I know for time's sake, so all the details of what each session is in the package page. But I want to say that when I was invited to be here today, I was like, what package do I want to offer? And this came through so strongly to do these very specific 4 group power healings that were recorded live. And each one is all about helping the old self die off in different ways. So the first one is releasing trauma so deeply because we have to feel safe inside to let go. And when we have trauma, the trauma is scared, right? So Spirit wanted to do this super deep clearing of trauma. So that's the first series in this four pack here. And then the next 3 sessions are working with the before and after Lionsgate, because that was powerful AF. So there's who you were before Lionsgate and there's who you are after. We worked with the old dying off in that way, meeting the very present moment, and then completely launching you in the new way that much easier of what the Lionsgate brought for you. So even though the Lionsgate happened, it's the frequencies within that are still working us, right? They're still in us. So I wanted to add that session as well. Then the other 2 sessions that are in there, one worked with these abrupt changes that were happening in a very specific way. So when I tune into every group that I do, Spirit brings me the topic. And so there was a time in which there was this day of abrupt endings, like the energy was just taken out, done. And that was happening within us. So we did a group power healing to help that abruptness happen way easier, to bring you into, again, old self dying off, next levels of yourself. And then the third one in there, there's 4, I'm kind of saying them out of order, but the third one is working with a very specific space and time of the old dying off, the new birthing, and there's this space in between, which is very similar to the true self, of this space, this peace, this stillness, this expansion, this wide kind of abiding energy. We really worked with that space in between to use that time to really deepen you guys in who and what you really are. And then again, clearing the old energy. So that's why I chose all these 4 sessions. They're each there to help you just super die off easy and be who you are. So that's why I offered this.
And as we know from those who have witnessed and even testimonials coming into our chat line, that these group healings are so powerful.
They're so powerful. Like, you guys are amazing. So I just have to say, like, it is these group power healings are like 50-50. So it's my gifts that are able to help your consciousness realize itself super fast, which then clears the energy of the old. But it is you, of the depths of dedication that you are dedicated to your own freedom and own self of being who you are, no matter what, that pure energy, that's what brings through all of this powerful clearing. So it's literally like we partner, and it's this collaboration of you guys bring what's next when we clear it super fast, and then you guys bring what's next and we clear it super fast. And so I just want to say to you guys, thank you so much. You are so powerful. So thank you.
Yes, and we thank you, Ambujam, because the work that we've done today, the conversation alone
Yeah,
has
it was
shifted our planet. It shifted us. It makes us feel confident. Fortified is beyond words. Fortified, and knowing that we got this, we can do it. And there's beautiful tools to support all of us in this. You're so beautiful at what you do, and we're so
thank
grateful.
you.
We really
Thank
are grateful.
you.
And again, the theme of the hour is just so perfect, because when you say it's real AF, it is real. And we got this, though.
We got this,
We got
100%. And it's messy, and just be messy.
Be
That's it.
messy, because on the flip side, on the other side, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Your empowerment. I see that world. I hope everyone sees that world. Liberated. It's really authentic and wild. It makes me laugh my head off. It really does. Quite fascinating. So good on everyone. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Your light is so needed at this time. Your empowered self embodied is so needed at this time. And for that, what we've done today has literally changed our world. Yes, it has. So as Ambujam says, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. One foot in front of the other, we will get there. And you're doing such a great job, all of you. Ambujam, a big love hug
Thank
to you
you,
from all of us.
loves. Thank you all. Thanks, Loren. So good.
Thank you. Again, click the link. If you're watching us on YouTube, the link is in our description box. Check it out. Work with these beautiful group power healing sessions from Ambujam. Your life will be forever shifted, elevated, and uplifted. Thank you all. Namaste. Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.